At the time, he was truly frightened. Looking at the report once again, he looked at the name carefully. Could this be related to the same family they were talking about? Jack thought. Would they care if I got rid of one kid, or maybe they were behind the deaths of my men in the first place? He started to think about what to do, and decided to go confront Vorden. However, every time he felt like he was about to do this, images popped back up in his head of the strong men on the table that day. Just what had gotten them so worked up? Perhaps it's best if I just leave it alone for now, Jack said. I could always get some more men. A few hours had passed, and lunch break had just passed. Although it was a Sunday, all the students had been told to gather in the assembly hall for a special occasion, while the others were wondering what it was excitedly and chattering away. Quinn and his group had stomach aches, and their blood was pumping wildly around their body. They knew exactly why they had all been called. A part of them didn't want the letter to be true, but they could no longer escape reality. Standing inside the assembly hall were all the first-year students and the second-year students. In the assembly hall, a total of 1,000 students stood around. All of them stood nice and straight, staring in the direction of the stage. Right now, standing up on the stage was Duke, and behind him were the two men who had arrived with Jack. "All right, is everyone ready?" Logan asked. Right now, Logan had a small earpiece that acted as a microphone, while the others apart from Peter had the same. It was time for them to put their plan into action. "Ready," they all replied. The assembly hall was split into two halves, with all the first-year students standing on the left of the stage and the second-year students standing right of the stage. The fact that all the students in the school were told to gather together and not just a single year told them it would be a big event. Then the two sections on each side would be further split up. They were grouped by each homeroom class, which contained about 50 students. Quinn and Vorden were standing relatively close to each other, while Peter was standing a row in front of them so they could keep an eye on him, while the girls stood directly at the front of the class. Their section was stationed closest to the stage, while right at the back towards the exit was Logan. To his surprise, it seemed like Fex was in the same homeroom class as him. Logan didn't turn up to homeroom class much, and if it was anyone else, they would have been punished for this. But because Logan was a VIP student from a rich family, he obtained special privileges. Duke was currently standing on stage giving the students a speech, telling them about all the achievements that the base had made so far and what the upcoming schedule for the first-year and second-year students would look like for the rest of the year. While listening to this, Vorden was preparing himself, or more specifically, he was preparing someone else. "Rayton, you remember the plan, right?" Vorden asked. "As soon as you finish with what needs to be done, then you get out of there. I don't care if someone looks interesting to fight, or if someone looked at you the wrong way. We need to disappear immediately after you're done." "Will you shut up?" Rayton snapped back. "For the last 2 days you've said the same thing over and over to me. I know that if I don't do what you said, I won't hear the end of it." Vorden hated the fact that the plan required him to use Rayton. If he could, he would have used himself, but the task that was given to him relied on him having two abilities, and Vorden could only control one. But of course, using Syl was out of the question, so that left him with Rayton. The two abilities he needed were already stored for the day. Right now, they just needed for the assembly to be over. Quinn, on the other hand, was worried for Peter. The system recommended giving Peter some of his blood, which he did, and he gave the order not to attack Duke or Jack. With the extra blood, it made Peter more loyal, to the point he would obey every order. Loyalty to one's master was also distance-based. The further away, the less influence the master's orders had, but with fresh blood from Quinn in his system, he would have no option but to obey the commands he was given. Eventually, the power would fade away, but for a short period like this one, it would be enough. The only way that Peter could disobey this order is if his life was put on the line. Then self-preservation would override Quinn's orders. Other than an update about the schedule for you all, we also have a special guest here today. He visited us last year, and he is here to visit us again. Duke pointed at one of the men who sat at the leader's table and was the leader of one of the Big Four. "Please clap for Mr. Truedream," Duke said as he walked off the stage. Mr. Truedream then got up from his seat and came up from the side of the stage. As he stepped forward, so did the two guards next to him. The students stared at them in awe. They had never seen such impressive beast gear in their life and couldn't imagine just how much it would cost them to own one. Knowing that they were from the Truedream family, they would also have some impressive abilities. However, as most of the students looked at Mr. Truedream, they were quite disappointed. He wasn't wearing any beast gear, and he didn't give off the same presence as other leaders they had seen. However, there were a few in the room who felt differently. They could feel confidence exuding from his body, and one of these students was Fex. As he was looking at him, he was starting to sweat. The sight of Mr. Truedream reminded him of the 13 vampire leaders. This was the presence of someone who was on top of the world. Many of you should know who I am, but just in case, my name is Jack Truedream, leader of the Truedream family and also the owner of Dreamland City. I have a close relationship with the military, and I visit every base each year. But I have to say, out of all the military bases, this is my favorite one. I also seem to get the most and the best gifts directly delivered to my doorstep here, Jack said with a smile. Did you hear that? He said we're the best military base out there, a student whispered. Are you an idiot? He probably says that to all the military bases he goes to, another student responded. True, but still, if we could get into his faction, we would be set for life. I hear he even provides free housing for all those in his city. As long as you join their team, of course, the first student replied. While the other students were excited to see Truedream, Quinn's group could see the other hidden message behind his words. Most likely those gifts he was talking about were the students given to him right after this assembly. He was declaring it in the open while no one knew what was happening. While the speech continued, from the bottom of Logan's sleeve, one of the small mechanical spiders crawled down his shirt and hopped off his shoe. It was the same size as a regular small spider and made next to no noise as it moved about. It continued to crawl across the floor until it had eventually reached the stage. All right, guys, it's all set, Logan whispered. Jack then spoke his final words. In a month, I will be coming to watch all of you at the intermilitary base event. Perform well, and those that impress me will be given an extended invitation. With that, the speech was over, and Jack walked off stage with his 2 guards behind him, heading off to a location out of sight from all the students, where the mechanical spider quickly followed along. As Jack left the stage, Duke returned. He had one last thing to say to everyone. You heard the man. Work hard so you can achieve a great future for yourselves. I expect our school to come out on top at the intermilitary base event. Before I dismiss you all to enjoy the rest of your day off, I would like these 8 students to stay behind. Ray Dem, Howard Hubby, Wilford Green, Sarah Beeswax, Michael Briscoe, Amy Yellop, Peter Chuck. After hearing Peter's name, everyone's stomach sunk a little. This was it. They needed to get into action right after he called out the final name. And finally, Aaron Haley. These students please stay behind and come to the front of the stage. The rest may leave. The students left the room one by one. It was their day off, and they didn't want to hang around in the assembly hall any longer. Most of them were leaving with a smile on their faces, excited about the upcoming event. Jack informed the students about his plans to be at the intermilitary base event. They were now eager to impress him and wanted to start practicing right away. It would be a shortcut to the top if Jack extended them an invitation to join his family.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.